Village Arts started in 2019. The building belongs to the parish council. They had the whole place redecorated in this colour, which I thought was a little dull. So I suggested that perhaps it'd make a good art gallery. Well, there is nothing else like this in the village. Skelmanthorpe is not the most likely place for an art gallery, but I do believe there is room for it. And that one of my ideas is to try and get community involved. And I do try as often as I can to get community groups in.
I tend to paint flowers and trees and gardens, sometimes buildings, but only if they're integrated into the sort of natural surroundings. It's really the interplay of light and shadow that I'm particularly interested in.
Right, well, the work I've brought here, I've got my very large charcoals with the hares and the fox and the deer and the other one there. And in my charcoals, I like to bring in a sense of movement. Really, that's what I'm trying to portray, like energy and movement rather than just a portrait of a hare. And then also my lino cuts. Those are a series of 5 there, lino cuts. And finally, there's 3 of my carousel series, which I was working on last year, which the idea behind that is that at night time, when the fairground closes down, the carousel horses come alive and sort of escape and have adventures.
I try not to be a critic or an arbiter of taste. I invite artists, they're free to refuse obviously, but it comes together more often than it fails, and I think this one's a really good one.
I think places like libraries are important to communities, not just because they provide books, but they're spaces for the community itself to explore and learn and find enjoyment. It's not just that they're warm spaces, they're also very welcoming spaces, and they can introduce people who wouldn't normally go past their threshold into worlds that they might not have considered, and they themselves may become artists, they may become writers.
I think it's a fantastic art. I think it's fantastic for all sorts of reasons, really. It makes it much more accessible for people. It's on their doorstep. They feel like it's their space. It's much easier to come into a place like this, much less intimidating than walking into a gallery that can be quite austere, or there's a feeling that they've got to buy something if they go into a commercial gallery. Also, if you don't have any big public galleries in the vicinity, it's great to have something like this.
Obviously we love donations, but all donations do go to the Friends of the Library, and I want to keep it as a community project. We're entirely non-profit. I have my Facebook page, which is Village Art Skelmanthorpe. I have Instagram, which again is village_art_Skelmanthorpe. What I want to offer, and people who take notice of this, I would be able to offer guided tours for small groups outside of library hours. All they have to do is get in touch with me at skelgallery@gmail.com.